Alright guys, it's been a while since we did a notes video, so tonight you're going to do your notes at home, come in and you'll practice this new topic which is dealing with summations. This is going to be a symbol that we're going to call sigma that you may or may not have seen before, but it is going to be some new notation that you are almost certainly unfamiliar with. So what we're going to start with is just by outlining what this symbol looks like. So this is the Greek letter sigma. And it just looks like a big uppercase E kind of. This sigma has three components. The first component is that there will be a function here. So we're going to call this f of n. All right, that's the function that we're going to be evaluating. So that says f of n, it just represents some function. It could be a sub n, it could be g of k, it could be anything, right? There could be any function sitting right there. But that's the function that we're going to be evaluating. So make a note of that. Okay. The second component of this summation is that we're going to have a starting point for our sequence. So A represents a number that we're going to plug in, and in this case, since it's a sequence, it represents the term that we want. So we're going to start by evaluating this function when n equals a. Okay, so what it's saying is we're going to plug in a number to this function. We're going to plug in a to f of n. All right, we're going to evaluate it for a. Then we're going to evaluate it for b. Then we're going to evaluate it for c, and so on. And as we're doing this, we're writing out what we're getting because it's a sequence. So I plug in a. I plug in, and we'll call it, this is f of a. That's our a term. Then we're going to plug in f of b. That's our b term. We're going to plug in f of c. That's our c term, and this is going to keep happening all the way until we eventually get to some x term, right? So we have to stop doing this eventually. We can't just keep plugging in numbers for the rest of our lives. So this summation is telling us we're going to start here by plugging in a. We're going to plug in a to f of n. We're going to keep doing this for all the terms that we want afterwards, and we're going to eventually stop at some term x. So x represents when we're going to finish this thing. Okay, so why do we write it like this? Well, if I'm just going to build a sequence, all right, over and over and over by plugging things in, I know how to do that. We've been doing that for weeks. The difference is, now that we're using this thing called a summation, we need to add them all together. So when we're done with this, and we've plugged in A, we've plugged in B, we've plugged in C, all the way up to whatever term we want, we're going to add them all. And that's what the summation is telling us to do. It's saying to take all the terms in this sequence and add them all together. So now let's get a little bit of practice actually doing that. Consider the following sequence. A of n, there's our sequence, equals 3 times n plus 1. Okay, so we have to find the first three terms in the sequence and then add them all together. So what is this going to look like if we write it in summation notation? Well, here is our sigma. We've got our function a of n here. It's telling us to find the first three terms. So we're going to start with n equals 1, and then we're going to finish when n equals 3. So that's going to be the last term we plug in. So we're going to have a sequence that looks like this, and we're going to add all of our results when we're done. So we're not really just writing out the sequence, we're actually going to be adding them all together. So let's figure out what these are. When n equals 1, what is the value of our sequence? Well, that's just going to be 3 times 1 plus 1, according to the function that we've been given that defines a of n, and that equals 4. So the first number in our sequence is 4. When n equals 2, then we have 3 times 2 plus 1, which of course is 7. So the second number in our sequence is 7. And when n equals 3, we just plug in a 3, and that gives us 10. So what the summation tells us to do, these two things are directly related, is to take these three numbers and add them together, and we get the value 21. So the summation of the function a of n from when n equals 1 to when n equals 3 is 21. So these summations will give you a number, a numeric value. Let's try these two down here. So we need to calculate the following summations. We've been given the functions, okay? So the first function is 3 times I. And in this case, I is not the imaginary unit, right? Normally we're used to seeing I is equal to the square root of negative 1. Oftentimes in these sequences and in summations, they will use I as the variable. It does not mean the imaginary unit. That's not what's going on here. I is just a variable here. If you're dealing with a problem where I is the imaginary unit, usually they will say, let I represent the imaginary unit, okay? So the function here is 3 times I. You could think of I as being a or x or whatever other variable. But it's saying we're not going to actually start with the first term. We're going to start with the second term. So we're going to plug in the value of the second term. And then we're going to plug in the value of the third term and of the fourth term, but we're going to stop at the fifth term. So let's figure out what these values are. When I equals 2, we have 3 times 2, which is 6. When I equals 3, we have 3 times 3, which is 9. When I equals 4, we have 3 times 4, which is 12. I'll start writing these in here. And when I equals 5, we have 3 times 5, which is 15. So now all we have to do is add those numbers together. You could do it in your head, you could use a calculator, whatever. You'll end up with 42. When you guys are watching these videos, I would always encourage you to, at this point, you could probably do this next one on your own. So pause the video, try the next one, and then you'll get to see, when I plug in this number, what values we get. All right, so we're talking about the function 1 to the k power. So we're going to first plug in negative 2. Then we're going to plug in negative 1. Then we're going to plug in 0. Then we'll plug in 1. Then we'll plug in 2. And that will equal something. One thing I want to talk about here is that when we defined a function 3 lessons ago, we said that the domain for these functions must be all of the positive integers. All right, so if we're talking about sequences, then we have to be talking about positive integers. These notes are introducing you to the concept of summations. You can add together all the terms of different functions that aren't necessarily summations. So don't think of this one as ending up being a sequence, because this could not be a sequence that represents a real world situation, because there wouldn't be a negative 2 term in an actual sequence. All right? So don't get hung up on that. Just think of 1 to the k power as being a function. So the first number I'm going to plug in is going to be negative 2. This is going to definitely test our ability to deal with negative exponents. I have 1 to the negative 2 power, which we all remember is the same as 1 over 1 to the second power, which would just end up being 1 over 1 or 1. Okay. Then I have k equals negative 1, which is 1 to the negative first power. That's the same as 1 over 1 to the positive first power, again is 1. We have k to the 0, or k equals 0, sorry. That's going to be 1 to the 0 power. We know anything to the 0 power equals 1. And I'm going to do the same thing for k equals 1, and then k equals 2. Okay, so we got 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, and that all equals 5. So the value of this summation is actually 5. Not as crazy as it looked like it was at the beginning. I hope none of you were scared off by the negative 2 there. What I want you guys to do before you come into class tomorrow is I want you to do this problem on your own. Do A and do B, but I'm just going to give you some tips over here on the side for when you are doing this. You've been given the sequence, and you're going to evaluate the sum. Make sure that you express it as a summation first. So step 1 is going to be to generate an explicit formula. So for each of these, right, for this one, I want you to tell me f of n equals, and give me an explicit formula to represent this sequence. Same thing with this sequence. Give me a formula to represent it. Then step 2, write it using summation notation. So you're just going to, after you've got your sequence, you're going to write it out in summation notation. And finally, I'd like you to solve. I'm going to show you guys in class how to use the calculators to evaluate these summations relatively quickly. So I will see you guys tomorrow.